It's like 3:30, and I've been on the trail since 10. Luckily, it's summer. Oh, I don't think I put a hole in my head. Good old Wilderness Committee hat saved me again. Okay, Jeff, tell us a little bit about this Silverdaisy Trail we're going to head up.
So it's an old trail yeah, it's been in the 103 hikes book in the past, and so there's a description here of it. We're going to be crossing the Smell River and then going up 7 switchbacks up the side of a mountain.
7 switchbacks.
That's right. So we've got to count 7 switchbacks. And then eventually we're going to join the old aerial tram line from the Invermay mine, and that's what the trail follows eventually. And then hopefully at the end of our day, endpoint will be the Invermay mine, the old Invermay mine, hopefully. So along the way we'll be documenting that, and also there's an older mine on the lower part called the Silverdaisy mine. So we're going to check that out too.
So on the way, we'll be going through a spotted owl wildlife habitat area.
That's right. Yeah, so we start in Manning Park, we cross the river here, then we're in Skagit Valley Park, and then we go into a spotted owl WHA on the first part of the switchbacks, the lower part of the trail.
We'll check that out. Then we're going to check out the old mine sites.
That's right.
Because we're entering the world famous donut hole area, which we've all been working to get protected, right?
That's right.
And so we're going to check that out and campaign really hard to get it protected.
Definitely.
Cool. It's going to be a great day. Wow.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Wow.
This is a globally recognized important area where a lot of different birds live, or rare ones live, and they come here, and it's ultra important for their lives and migration, and that's so exciting that it's an important bird area.
Yeah, another great reason to get the donut hole protected and not messed up by mining. Big cedar. Wowzers, that is a big tree. Jeff says this is the trail to the old Silverdaisy mine site. That's 1920s, is it, Jeff?
That's right, 1929 I think was the last time they took ore out of here.
Would you get your truck there?
A wall up there?
Yeah, they built like a foundation, and there's like a cabin up there.
Oh, whoa.
There's all kinds of stuff here, right? This little kind of mining area here, mining site. All mine, basically.
This is one of the things we came to see, the site. Wow.
So it's pretty good, decent shape forward.
Wonder if it still runs. Wow.
Wow, look at the spectacular waterfall over there. That's just awesome.
It's gorgeous. Yeah, it's going back to the forest. Oh yeah. I see the old mine shaft. Whoa. Whoa. The old 1920s shaft. Oh. A message from September 1998. There's the shaft. Nah, I'm not going in. So we found it. We found the start of the Silverdaisy Trail. Nicely marked to us by BC Parks. Okay, now it's time to head up the Silverdaisy Trail. There it is. Oh, beautiful country, but could be a tad overgrown. That's what we're here to find out. And as soon as we walk in this, we step out of the provincial park and we step into the donut hole. Now this lower elevation forest in the donut hole is actually in a wildlife habitat area put off limits to logging now to protect spotted owl habitat. So this is one of the good news areas, one of the 60,000 hectares of suitable habitat that we have seen protected. And it's gorgeous, gorgeous habitat. Just over here we used to have spotted owls, and because we're close to the US border here, we could get them again. So this is really important habitat to have protected. I can see the old trail tread, and I can also see it hasn't been cleared out in a while. Wow. The old mine trail. This Silverdaisy Mountain has been seen a lot of exploration for mines. Not much actual mining, but 100 years of exploration, which has left trails like this on the landscape. And we're arguing this whole donut hole area needs to get protected.
Been maintaining it.
Oh, look, we've got a bit of clearing, eh?
Somebody's been doing some volunteering, I guess. Volunteer clearing.
Beauty. Good. Wow. You got another shaft? Woo! Another place I shouldn't go. Wow, glorious location. Salmon berries are all in flower. What do you say, Jeff?
That's kind of spooky.
Gotta have one survivor to go get help.
That's it. That's gonna be me, I think.
Gotta have my eyes acclimatized to this. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh yeah. Huh. Wow. Wowzers. Oh, that is pretty wow. Wow. Okay, this Silverdaisy Trail up the donut hole, into the donut hole. The headwaters of the Skagit is super impressing me right now. It's the time of year. The Pacific rhododendrons are absolutely freaking-tacular here. Wow, this is right on the trail. Gorgeous. It's our native beauty. And it's only in this very small part of the province. And it's here in the donut hole, the unprotected zone in the middle of Manning and Skagit parks. It's not protected though, and we want to get it protected, which is why I'm walking up this trail up the Silverdaisy Creek. Now, earlier on this year, the provincial government did ban BC timber sales from logging in Silverdaisy anywhere in the donut hole, so that was a tremendous move forward. Now we need to see this area formally protected because a mining company, Imperial Metals, has tenure here, and we need to see that tenure extinguished. The real gold in the donut hole is its incredible biodiversity and beauty. And man, it is really showing itself off today. What a beautiful day. This jade green moss on these spectacular Pacific rhododendrons in full bloom here in the donut hole. Wow, walking through this gorgeous Douglas fir forest, this beautiful mossy trail. Doesn't get better than this. Wow, wow, air conditioning. Jeff has found an even bigger waterfall. And so, I'm gonna crash across the side hill here. Let's see if we can find that sucker. Wow. Jeff wasn't kidding. Whoa! Here we are at Silverdaisy. It's just over this little hill is one honking big falls. Oh yeah! That's a rush and a half. Whoa! Woo! Look at that, baby! Wow! Woo! Woo! Ah! Turn it down! Whoa! That is some mean water pressure! Woo! Whoa! Look at that baby run! Woo! Wow! Surprise around every corner! Whoa! Bit of water in the air over there. Yeah! I think I'll have the special. Ah, samosa. Oh.
Tickle.
Okay, as they say, back on the road again. The Silverdaisy Trail. Across this talus slope. Looks like through that gap and into the valley up top. The history of these mountains, the human history of these mountains goes back millennia. These are borderlands, headwaters areas between great nations, the Inakatna, who use this area extensively, the Upper Similkameen, who are just over the next watershed, the Skagit tribes, who now are in the United States, but this is the Skagit watershed. That 49th parallel border is just a recent thing. This was in all this water flowed down through Skagit Nation territory, a Coast Salish nation. The Stalo are really a short trip down to the Fraser River, which is quite close. These waters don't run into the Fraser. They hit the ocean, the Salish Sea, in Washington State. So very interesting headwaters area with a number of nations. It also is a very interesting watershed when it comes to Canada and the US and BC and Washington State. These are shared waters between those entities. And in fact, there's a treaty that was signed over the entire Skagit watershed that commits both sides to protecting the environment and to working to get mining tenure out of the Skagit watershed, because it's such a critical watershed for fish, for clean water, for wildlife habitat. It is spectacularly critical and always has been. So my whole journey today, my whole journey on all of these trips is on unceded indigenous land. So what does unceded mean? Well, basically means that these lands were never in any way, shape, or form given up by the indigenous communities that own them, the indigenous nations. So these lands were not signed away in treaty. They were not lost in war. They were not sold. They were not given as a gift. They are owned. They belong to the indigenous nations, communities, and people that have always owned them. And it's a great honor to be out here today. And it's up to all of us to ensure that justice eventually prevails, sooner rather than later, that the true ownership of these lands is acknowledged and that the owners are put back into management authority so that these lands can be stewarded once again. And we don't see the continuance of the ecological disaster that I think we would all agree is happening around us. Accelerating species endangerment, loss of resources, pollution of water. It really is quite profound. And justice is the way back from the brink. So, newsflash. I'm looking at the GPS, and this thing that looks like an old road, sort of in the middle of nowhere, is in fact the old tram line from the 1940s. No wonder the route goes along it. It's a great trail bed. All right. So this was where the cable tram came down with the ore, but I don't see any, infrastructure that would have held up the cable, so it still remains a bit of a mystery to me. I'd love to know more. Now, my GPS also tells us I am about 1.5 kilometers away from the old Invermere mine. We are now in the forest that is not protected in a spotted owl wildlife habitat area. So this part of Silverdaisy Valley would have been being roaded and logged this year had Environment Minister George Heyman and Forest Minister Doug Donaldson not stepped in December of 2019 and ordered BC timber sales out of the donut hole. We came this close to losing this beautiful area. Thank goodness the minister stepped up. Wow. What a tremendous legacy this valley to leave to future generations, to protect and to enjoy. But now we have to get Imperial Metals out of here, because what a tragedy to have dodged the logging threat only to have Imperial Metals dig this place up in a fruitless search for minerals. Yeah, we got to get on this. Okay, first of all, you need to know there really is a creature called a mountain beaver. It's not a beaver. I don't think it's even related. It's called a mountain beaver. But where I'm standing now really feels like mountain beaver habitat. The problem is, I don't know if they're in this part of the Cascades. I don't know if they're at this elevation. But it really feels mountain beavery. They have little burrows, and though they don't really cooperate, they do tend to live together, and something was going under the snow here. I don't know. When I get back, I'm going to check Mountain Beaver Range and see. See, this looks really mountain beavery to me. I can't explain it any other way. My old nemesis. Cut block boundary ribbon. But you know what? It's not going to happen. Oh man, this came close. Look at this. How many times have we run into this in the bush? Oh man. See that? But thanks to you writing into the ministers. Look at, oh, all marked out for logging. This didn't happen. Because in December 2019, the Forest Minister and the Environment Minister ended BC timber sales in the donut hole, which is awesome. And they're not allowed to log here. But this area still does not have formal protection. And this nightmare could return sometime in the future, I fear. And so we barely dodged the bullet this time. We need to get this area designated immediately as a recreation area. The negotiations with Imperial Metals need to continue on. And then, when those are concluded and the tenure is wiped out, the provincial government and the First Nations, Indigenous communities that rely on this area and lived here for forever and ever, well, they need to work together to designate this as a fully protected area. Cooperation between the provincial government and the First Nations is the way to go. Wow, we have made it to the Invermay mine site. The time is 4:30 in the afternoon, 1/2 hour before my turnaround time. And we can see that mining, yeah, existed in the past. Let's leave it in the past. There ever was much of a mine here. This is a building in the old Invermay mine site. It's now a really interesting piece of heritage. Of course, you didn't strip mine the whole mountain. Wow. Here we are. I'm going to get the drone out, fly around, see where we are at. Yeah, more old More old buildings, and you gotta watch you don't step on a nail here at the end of the day. Wow. Here at the old, some of the old buildings associated with the mine. Oh man, big ton of buildings over here. Just don't want to go wandering around those spikes sticking out of boards. Cut block boundary ribbon there. There too. Here at the old Inverme mine site. At least some of the cabins. Yeah, it's 5 o'clock. Time to head her back. We've hit turnaround time. After 100 years of digging up this mountain, it's pretty much all there is to show for it. It's time to extinguish the mining claims. Never going to be a big mine here. A lot of history. And a lot of beauty. Time to protect the place. Oh, trees are bigger down here for sure as we get down the hill again. Really reminded what a difference elevation makes. Oh, wiggle our way past this big log. Somebody's chopped a passage through. Thank you to who did that. Oh, time to head her home. Good trip into the donut hole.
Ingredients are peanut based.
This is Joe Foy, Protected Areas Campaigner for the Wilderness Committee. Until next time.